This is the Russian Dynamite, Masha Slamovich.
Becca here.
This is not America's Sweetheart, Davian.
It's Billy Starks. And
the super fly guy, Trayvon Jordan.
This is the fly side flyer, Jalen Brandon.
Hardcore Princess, Jules Malone.
Hi there, this is the Bubblegum Princess, Alexia Nicole.
This is the Brazilian Wonder Woman, Christy James.
This is the baddest black belt, Chennai Kai.
This is Kid Bandit.
The smash hit, Joel Bateman.
This is Robin Renegade.
Cody Hawk.
Brutal Bob Evans. And you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment, one of my favorite podcasts in the whole wide world.
This is the ace of Finnish wrestling, Shemeikka, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hello, and welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, the only audio experience on the web today. The trusted choice for interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Tuesday and Wednesday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. I am, of course, your host, James J., and it's a great day for wrestling because we are wrestling with the Golden Finn, the Ace, Shemeikka.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Can you tell us where we can find you on social media and your merchandise?
You can find me at Shemeikka FCF on, I think, Instagram and Facebook is under that, and Shemeikka PW as Shemeikka Pro Wrestler on TikTok. And Threads is also Shemeikka FCF, so trying to spread out to all the social medias, but I'm not the biggest fan of it, so doing my best.
I gotcha. And you don't have to go looking for it. All of the links to all his social media will be in the description of the video below, both on YouTube and Castbox. Right, let's get into it. You work for Fight Club Finland. Can you tell us about your relationship with the company?
Well, we nowadays, it used to be called Fight Club Finland, as it's FCF Wrestling, and nowadays we just call it FCF Wrestling. We kind of dropped the Fight Club moniker there.
Okay.
Like the FCF stands for nothing, kind of. Nowadays it's just used to be Fight Club Finland, so that's the name. And they trained me, so it's been the whole time, and it's still my home promotion and the one that I am most fond of course, and I'm doing a lot of work for FCF, like outside of the ring as well, just to trying to grow the scene in Finland.
And that you have, you've held the FCF title twice. What does that mean to you?
It was really kind of strange to even get it. Of course, it was a dream, but I'm not the biggest guy, of course. And when I started wrestling, I my trainer asked me, what you want to do? And I was like, yeah, I just want to have a match. Like, I've been a fan so long, and also not a fan after that of wrestling. And then I got asked, like, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I'm happy if I get match. And of course, when you have your first match, when you debut, after that you want to get more. It's a drug that really gets you. And suddenly I noticed that I kind of get it. I kind of get the wrestling, if I can say so myself. And also the bookers noticed that. And suddenly I am trusted to be the champion. And it was really like something I didn't actually believe that would happen. And when it happened, of course, it was so nice. And then I had a long reign over a year. And like I could, in one title reign, I already like saw as what is it like to be a champion as a top babyface and also as a top heel. So, and a lot of defenses and trying to be the poster boy for the company, and it was rough, but I also kind of liked that. and that's what I like say to the people I train in wrestling, that being the champion is like the winning championship. It's one thing. It's where the job starts and where the work starts. Like, you're not gonna be like, oh yeah, now I won the title and now I can be happy. No, then you just have to start to work. And of course, like, usually people have like had a break after they've been champion, like, because they feel like they've accomplished like so much. But I didn't have a break after the title, and of course I kind of understand the feeling after, because when you've been on the top, it doesn't matter how big your promotion is, but when you've been on top of that promotion, you kind of you get a little empty feeling, like, okay, now I'm out of the main event picture. What do I do? But it lasted some time. You get over it, and now the next thing is try to get the belt the third time, or go for the tag team titles, something like that.
And winning the championship, is that a moment you take in the moment, or is that something that kind of sets in afterwards, like, wow, I did this?
For me, it was the moment, like, immediately in the ring. It was our biggest event of the year, Winter War 15, and and one of the greatest matches I've ever had against Juhana Karhula, and of course it's all the emotions after the match. You're tired, and your adrenaline finally starts to leave the body, and you're in the ring, and everybody's standing up, and then I start to see like my friends there who came to see, and then you like get emotional, and it was really something. I like kind of wanted to run away, get in the back as fast as possible, but also like I just like I didn't want it to end all at the same time. It's like, so it was really cool. And of course it's kind of, I think everyone who's won a title in wrestling can kind of relate the fact that when you get home with the belt, and let's face it, like most of wrestlers aren't going to a mansion where they're gonna have a vault where they put their belt there. So you put the belt on your living room table or something, and that's kind of empty feeling, like, wow, I did it, but what next? And that was like the kind of interesting part also.
Okay. Now, one thing I find very interesting is that you started your wrestling career under a mask, somewhat luchador-esque. Can you tell us about your reasoning for wrestling under a mask?
Yeah, it was actually like I wasn't supposed to. We kind of had a different person who gave us the gimmicks first than the one that trained us. So the guy who gave the gimmicks didn't really know what I can do or what I cannot do, what was the more important. So they were thinking that, oh yeah, let's make Shemeikka a luchador. And they didn't know that I really don't wrestle like that. That's not what I do. And of course, but they didn't say to get a mask. And I was like, okay, I'm really not sure what I'm gonna do. And then it just happened to be that the other guy from the training group bought the mask, and it didn't fit his character at all. So I was just at the event, and I was like, hey, can I try the mask? And it's like, yeah, I could work with this. And I was more thinking about going like, not a luchador thing, but more like a Japanese, like it reminded me of like Great Sasuke or something like that. Like, maybe I could do something like that. Of course, in the end, I had nothing to do with even like the Japanese wrestling style or anything. So it was kind of like mixture of just having a mask first, and let's have your character, but you don't really have a character. So and people think that you're luchador, but you really can't do the lucha stuff. So it was kind of a mess. But since there wasn't any baby faces with masks at the time in FCF, it really it caught on with the crowd, and also it was a good way to like kind of protect me as okay, he doesn't have a character, but people remember it's the guy with the mask. So I didn't have a character, or like a real character. You can always say, you can have nicknames, you can say whatever, but really I didn't have anything. But I had the mask. He's the guy with the mask, and people got behind that. But the best thing was to get rid of the mask. Not that I wanted it, but it was such a cool storyline, and it really elevated me like higher on the card, and that what kind of like really pushed my career.
All right. Now, you actually won the Swedish Heavyweight Championship for Stockholm Pro Wrestling, and I believe you're actually the first Finnish wrestler to ever do so. What was that moment like, and what does that mean to you to be the first Finnish wrestler to hold that title?
I really didn't think about that when it happened that I'm the first Finnish, and I wasn't sure even about that. But like, of course, it was even like, if it felt like crazy to get the title in FCF, but to have a promotion and promoter from another country trusting you with their belt, it was like amazing. I was like, what have I done so right to deserve this? And of course, I also absolutely love it when a foreigner comes, because you don't believe that the foreigner could pick up the belt so easily. But like, then I just came, and I was a heel, of course. So I already was FCF champion at the same time. So it didn't feel like, it wasn't as emotional as getting the FCF title, but it was still like kind of, I felt really proud, and also that because I don't really or at that time at least, I didn't like believe in myself. I'm the biggest critic of myself, as are the most wrestlers, but like, to get that kind of recognition, it was kind of like, maybe I've actually done something right, and it really gave me confidence for the future. And I think for a moment it felt like, now that I think about it, I haven't really thought about it since, but like to hold like a Swedish heavyweight title and FCF title at the same time, it's kind of crazy. I think that's what I think about it.
Well, speaking of another crazy moment, can you tell us about that time you were on the stage for the 90s Rock Festival?
Yeah, that was cool as well. I think there's been quite a great opportunities with the Stockholm Wrestling, and it was the 90s festival in Stockholm. It's a one-day festival, and of course we are wrestling there, and we had a good placement for the ring. Like, anyway, that we were, the festival grounds weren't that big, and the ring was quite close to the stage. There was only one stage, so it was quite close. So even though there wasn't, like, of course there wasn't tens of thousands of people watching the wrestling, but they kind of had to, like, at least hear us or so. And then we got a chance, like, or the promoter had talked to the festival promoter that, okay, our guys are going to come and promote the last show, which was going to be like a Finland versus Sweden Survivor Series type match. And we went to the stage, and I've never been on a stage that big that it had like a backstage of its own on the stage, as we were, of course, the wrestlers. Our backstage wasn't where the artists are and stuff like that. But we went there, And then the promoter just said, "No, we don't have time. We have a karaoke coming, so no time for that." Then we're like, okay, shame. And then there was a lot of talking in Swedish, and my Swedish isn't that good that I would understand. But then they were like, okay, you wrestlers go with the announcer of the festival, some radio host. You go, and the radio host will say that, okay, here are the wrestlers, and they will be there, so that we are not wasting any time. And then we went there, and we were standing, and the host was like, yeah, woohoo, here you are. These are the wrestlers. Their show starts in 15 minutes or so. And then she made a mistake of giving the microphone to one of us. And we were like, oh, yeah, we are not giving this back. So then we all, I think there were 4 of us, we all had some time on the microphone. And the host was like, the announcer, the radio host she was like, she didn't think that nothing bad about it. Of course, I don't know if the promoter backstage was like steaming because like, oh, don't give the wrestlers the time. But yeah, it was cool to I think I went for the rocks, like, hey, do we love the 90s? And then there like 15,000 people like, yeah. And then I'm like, I don't give a fuck if you like the 90s, and get some heat for that. I don't really know if that helped with promoting the show, but at least that was quite a cool, and to see like just this sea of people. It's quite cool. Even though I'm at a wrestler like in front of like close to 1,000 people, but like the promoting the 15,000, that's a big difference.
Oh yeah. I just know that Stanislav was very excited about calling 15,000 people jabronis.
Oh, for sure. We were just running away from the stage after that, and everyone was just laughing, and we were, it was, and we had like the match right after that. So the heel team was still smiling while we were walking to the ring because of that.
Speaking of tag teams, you almost had a tag team with Vegan Thunderbolt called the Wrestling Dicks.
Did I? What is this? I've never heard about this.
Hey,
Wrestling
it
Dicks.
came from you, so.
No, I think that must have been some kind of joke. But I know I would love to tag with Viken. That's a thing, and but no, we didn't have that team coming.
Okay, so it wasn't nothing really manifested.
Yeah, I think Viken and we joke a lot in each other's posts, and I think Viken sometimes he also writes in Finnish. I think through Translate or just guessing. And there have been I remember something about Wrestling Dicks, but I don't really nothing actually came through of those jokes. And I think I'm glad. Of course, once again, I would like to tag with Viken. That would be great, but maybe not as a Wrestling Dicks.
I gotcha. All right. You could correct me if I'm wrong, and you could add some context to this. But you taught pro wrestling at a college university?
Yes, there is you are correct, and I've actually held, I think, 2 courses now in Tampere, one of the cities in Finland. There is the university wing for actors, and they actually, one of our guys from FCF and me, we came up with the program like, would you like to buy this course for them? And the university bought it, and we like tried to not just teach actors wrestling, but just also like what can they get out of wrestling that they cannot get out in other jobs. And we actually landed on the the interaction with the fans, of course, or the crowd, and also being an object of that people look and being objectified as well. And we kind of collected these, put them together, made a course out of it. The first one was only 2 weeks and 4 days of training before. And they, of course, because they always have to do some sort of demo after a course, and we thought that there is no other way to do a demo about pro wrestling than doing a pro wrestling show. So after 4 days of training, they did a pro wrestling show. And we had some guys from FCF coming as their opponents, just to make it easier. But the first one was rough because, like, after 4 days of wrestling, you need to do a wrestle a match. And some of them did great. Most of them did great. And of course, some of them had shorter matches, but some made like 10-minute tag team matches, and they did great. And the next time we went there, we had the course, and this time it was I think 3 weeks. And we had actually 2 weeks of the wrestling training, which was much better. And it's also rough to teach wrestling for 8 hours a day. And of course, I was the only teacher that could teach the wrestling. The other guy was also an actor, so he was kind of being the being the glue or the missing part there that like connected my wrestling talk to the actors. But yeah, it gave me a lot. I understood so much more of wrestling after that, because most of the stuff we do, the actors like could put in like an academic terms, like, oh, you mean this? And I'm like, exactly. And also they got so much out of it and they loved it. And other universities have been asking, or the students in other universities have also been asking, like, hey, why can't we have this? Why can't we have this? Because that seems so cool. And I think one actress said it best, that like when you are in a theater, you only get the applause in the end. But in the wrestling, you get the applause right from the gate. And the only time she had that kind of experience was when she sang like a national anthem in a ice hockey game, where you get like a immediate reaction and a rowdy reaction. And that was the same thing in wrestling, that they were so happy to get that kind of reaction instead of getting the polite claps after an hour and a half of theater. Now you go there and you're immediately greeted with an applause. So it was really a nice experience from them. And we even got some, or at least one of them continued and became a wrestler in FCF as well. So
that's awesome.
And I hope to do that again.
Was it somewhat difficult, or was there any like barriers when it comes to teaching people, pro wrestling that maybe don't have, a knowledge or understanding of it? Because, obviously if you go to a wrestling school, personally, you have some idea of what pro wrestling is. But it kind of seems like, if you're going to a college, some of these people might be really blind to how pro wrestling works, no?
Yes, and it's kind of yes and no. Like when you don't know about wrestling, like these people didn't, they kind of understand better how we do it in the end, when they don't have the like idea as a fan behind that, and then they just focus on what you say, and they learn like extremely well the stuff. But of course, if you come as a fan, and that usually most of the wrestlers are, like you said, and what it's about, there are some things that, like, for example, of course, moves are, you can just, in a wrestling school, usually you can just throw up, okay, let's do, power bomb, this, and everyone knows them. But there you have to like nobody has any idea what a suplex is or what a body slam is. And also when you think about like stuff like selling, for example, like how are you when someone sends you in the corner, how are you in the corner? And if you watch wrestling, you don't, like, even you would know, even though like you haven't trained at wrestling, but because you watch so much wrestling, you would immediately, a wrestling fan would go in a certain state in a corner and like, okay, this is how I am in the corner, this is how I go through the ropes or whatever. But like when people don't know anything about wrestling, then they're like, what am I supposed to do in the corner? Like, oh, you need to like, okay, lean into the turnbuckle like that, like you're tired, you know. And there was some stuff like that, but otherwise, like when you the nice part, I always say that I like a little bit more teach people that aren't fans of wrestling, so they you don't have to like try to talk them out of their like what they think wrestling is, because doing wrestling is a different thing than watching it. And it didn't even help me. I had watched wrestling 20 years before I started, and then you kind of have to relearn what you know about wrestling to actually be good. So I think guys and girls and everyone who don't have like the background in or as a wrestling fans, they usually understand it so much faster, and they have a chance to be actually great in it, because you don't have to, like I said, you don't have to beat the smark out of them first.
I gotcha. Alright, I think it's time for Shemeikka's Bizarre Adventure. You're a pro wrestler that goes up and down the roads, and weird, crazy, and bizarre things are bound to happen. Can you tell us a road story that fits that description?
Oh wow, I'm just thinking which one should I pick. There's been quite a few, and I also have to think that what I can tell. There are some that are off limits to tell, but we usually have one that I always remember was we actually it was a show in Finland, but it wasn't in Helsinki, so we had to travel to some really small town, and I really till this day I don't understand why we had a show there. But we went there, and it's called Leppävirta, and it probably has like 1,000 people, and I don't know, we went there with the bus, which was cool. And for once we had it so that we went there the day before during the evening, so we checked in the hotel and we had the show next evening. So that was nice, but there was also the little danger that is that some guys like to start drinking, and me too. Nothing too crazy, but like have a few beers on the way there. And of course, when you're a bus, it's nice to just talk some shit and have a beer. And when we got there, then we just noticed that it's not gonna. We are having too much fun, and we're not gonna now stop before. And well, the night was long, nothing too fancy, but when we woke up around midday or so, and then the promoter called that, oh, there's gonna be a seminar by Demolition Davies, a German wrestler, and everyone was like, fuck, no way. And like, yeah, you have to come now, because it's like, okay. And then everyone's like, I don't have any gear to train. Like, I don't have my sweatpants, I don't have anything. It's like, well, use your wrestling gear. And I'm like, oh my God. And then people were there in their jeans and in their like boots and like just it looked like a school like PE class that everyone's just like, oh, where's your pants? I don't have pants. I'm wearing jeans now. And then there was like everything seemed to go like wrong. We were doing some drills and like something like, okay, here's a 30-second drill. You do that. And then suddenly we just noticed there was two guys, one German guy, one Finnish guy, and they started to improv, and nobody said anything, and they improvised for 10 minutes for one fucking segment, and everyone's like, should someone like just say them? And then they started to, because they didn't get the idea of what we were doing, so they just started to beat each other, and like neither one of them didn't want to give an inch, and we are just watching. Everyone's like, God, should someone just say to them to stop? And then they eventually did, but it took like 10 minutes instead of 30 seconds, and everyone was just quiet. And then the Demolition David just said that, well, that was too long. I'm like, yeah, that sure was. And we ended the seminar with the worst ever, I think it was 10 wrestlers against 10 wrestlers elimination match, with like at least 15 of those wrestlers hungover as fuck, and everyone was just trying to like get out. So it was mostly like get in the ring, get clothesline, get pinned, and run back to your locker room and get out of there. And yeah, and then we had a show. We were promised like something like 4,000 people. There was probably 400, so there was a little bit too much promises there. And we had this like, before us there was this Finnish like rapper. He seemed like a cool guy, but after that it was like a really long or old school punk rock band from Finland also. And we decided to, hey, let's interview the guy for like social media. And he just buried the whole wrestling. He was like, I don't like that's just stupid, predetermined fake shit. And we were like, cool, thanks a lot for the interview. And we're, all right, I'm not gonna watch your gig either. So but yeah, that was a long trip, and a lot of things happened, and we had some like a hardcore match, which was so much fun there, but we asked the like the venue that can we use a table if we break one, and like yeah sure. And then we're like, okay, we're gonna break so many tables, because they had like 20 tables next to the ring, as almost as like a guardrail, but instead it was tables covered in cloth. But then someone told us out of it, like, yeah, just use the one table you were promised, so we don't get any slack from the owner of the place. But yeah, it was a wild trip and good memories, but at the time we weren't laughing that much. It was kind of rough.
Definitely an eventful adventure, to say the least.
Oh, for sure.
All right. Can you tell us if there is any meaning behind your tattoos?
Oh, for sure. I haven't got any news in a long time. I kind of almost got all my tattoos in a short period of time, and some of them have meaning, some of them not. I have my family coat of arms tattooed on my chest, and it's actually a little bit, well, I gave the artist like a like that, okay, you can do like your version of it instead of the original picture, but it's my first tattoo, and it's a little bit smudged. I think it might be that. So people mostly ask, do I have like a bug or like a beetle or something on my chest? And I'm like, no, just look closer. It has a knight and shield and spears, but yeah, it kind of looks like a bug. And then I have my Terminator 2 endoskeleton tattoo. It was just something that I kind of always wanted to get, because I'm a Schwarzenegger fan and as well as a Terminator fan, but just because I didn't know if Schwarzenegger would turn out as a horrible person at some point, so I guessed it's better not to take a real person's face, so I decided to do the endoskeleton. Someone said that if you're gonna get a tattoo, like have a picture of it on your fridge, and if you are not bored of it in a few months, you probably won't get bored of it. And I kind of did that. I didn't have any pictures on my fridge, but I already had the idea when I was something like 15, and when I started to be 26 or something, and I got that. I'm like, if I still want it, it's probably good to get. And it cost like hell. It cost like fucking 800 euros. And I was like, oh God. And the tattoo artist didn't say anything. He just started to tattoo. And then I was like, hey, how much will this cost? He was like, it's 100 euros per hour. And I was, okay. How long do you think this will take? And it's like, probably something like what was it, like 11 hours? So I was like, what? How am I ever gonna pay that? But then he said, we're gonna cap it at 800 or 900. I don't remember. Okay, and we actually had to do it in 3 different sessions. But yeah, it doesn't have a meaning like that, but it's more like that it was a cool thing, the Terminator, and also like I could talk about like how I'm indestructible and blah 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 blah. I'm a killing machine. No, it's just like I just like the movie and I wanted to get a tattoo in a tattoo craze. And then I got a turtle, Leonardo from Turtles on my left arm. It was the kind of same thing. I was like, yeah, I really like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, so I'm gonna get that one. And I asked once again the tattoo artist, do you have any ideas? He had an idea. I'm like, yeah, sure, let's do that. And then I've also like had a one tattoo on my leg that was just like the artist said that, hey, you are easy to tattoo. He was the same guy that did the Terminator. Like, can I do one for free? And I was like, yeah, like, can he do one of his designs for free on my leg? And I'm like, sure. And it's one of my favorites. Everyone it's a picture of, it's like a woman's face, and everyone asks like, who is that? And it really is nobody. It was just a cool design that I got. And then the final one that I had is the Kremlin's tattoo on my forearm, and I really loved it. And I was going for Gizmo. I just wanted to like balance my arm around a little bit because I had the evil Terminator, and then that I would go for the Gizmo from Kremlin Spa just to make it nice. But then we couldn't find a good picture of Gizmo, and instead we found the Mohawk from Kremlin Zoo, the bad guy. I'm like, yeah, let's go with that, and it turned out great. But yeah, mostly it's strange that you asked, because I at some point I don't even like remember that I have tattoos. They just like you don't see them anymore from the mirror or anything. But now that you made me think of them, I'm like, yeah, they're kind of cool. Not a huge, not much meanings behind them. But being a fan of like the 90s stuff, when I grew up in the 90s, and I have a soft spot for all the movies and cartoons that I watched, and I try to rewatch all the cartoons all the time, and they just give me the nice warm feeling.
Oh yeah. Is there any plans for new ink in the future?
I kind of have been thinking, now that you ask. I have a cat who is really dear to me, and but I kind of want him tattooed somehow. But I also my one of the latest, well, it's been like 5 years old, but one of the latest cartoons that I really fell in love with was Over the Garden Wall, which is like it's a short series, and I think it's one of the best things written and best things you can watch from TV. And I really fell in love with that. So I'm kind of thinking of having some sort of combination with that art style. Maybe a character from Over the Garden Wall with my cat or something like that. That would be nice. Get another tattoo, probably that one with like a color, because I only have one color tattoo and others are black and white. So.
Okay. I think it's time for the colossal question. Let's say they're making a movie about you. Every movie has a soundtrack. What would be the first 3 songs on your movie soundtrack?
14.
No. Oh, that's the name of the song.
Oh, no. I mean, like, how many songs do you want? Just
3.
one?
3 songs.
Yeah, 3 songs. Okay. I would otherwise go with the Journey Separate Ways, but it has been now overused in all the Netflix's 80s, because I think they're one of the best songs ever.
Okay.
But I would go with King 810, and the song is called Alpha and Omega. I think it's super heavy song, but it's kind of like my power song when I need something in the gym or something, and I just can't get enough of that song. So that's most definitely one. And then, of course, you don't know this, but it's a Finnish artist, a really controversial artist, mostly because he's fucking shit. But it's called Tauski, and his song Kummallinen Mies, and all my friends will know why I choose this song, but I'm not gonna open it more. But that would definitely be probably in the credits or something. And now the third one. Oh, let's go with Pull the Plug by Death. So two quite heavy songs and one strange one. So.
Okay. Now that we have the soundtrack, then we go to casting. Who plays you? And you can't say yourself because you are obligated to make a Stan Lee-esque cameo.
Oh yes, of course. I would have Tom Hardy would play me. So he would actually look better and be bigger than me. So I think he could pull off a great Shemeikka.
Okay. And every movie has a supporting cast. Who would be 3 people with meaning to you that would be in your movie, and who would play them?
I think the movie would be based around the wrestling scene. So I would have young Al Pacino playing Juhana Karhula, my trainer, one of my best friends.
Okay.
And then, of course, my rival, my most famous rival, Victor Tykki, would be played by Jason Momoa. Yeah. Okay. They look kind of same. And then let's see. I would have probably, let's have, I'm having some funny jokes, but I'm not gonna need to withhold those. I would have, let's say Stone Cold Steve Austin would be playing Ioni, one of the other wrestlers who had a big part there. So yeah, I would think that would be an interesting all-star cast that would make a absolute banger of a movie.
Hell yeah. This is definitely sounding like a great movie. A blockbuster to say the least. And you could pre-order the tickets now. On to a controversial subject. Pineapple on pizza. What's your stance?
I used to hate it. But now I think people just need to grow up. It's sometimes really good, sometimes it's bad. In Finland, we have like if you really want to get controversial, because when we were in school, we had this like graded carrots with pineapple, and that was the most disgusting shit a kid can eat. So after that, you don't really give a fuck if your pizza has pineapple, because like you've gone through worse.
So you're kind of more leaning towards anti, but you will indulge sometimes.
Oh yeah, I can easily, like, if I go to pizza buffet, I don't mind if there is a pineapple. I usually don't order it myself, but if someone has made a pizza with pineapple, it's usually great.
All right. What's your spirit Pokemon?
Ooh, good question. I've always. Wow, this is the deepest question.
I did not think this was going to be the one that stumped you.
No, but this is important. I can't get this wrong. I think we'll go with Diglett.
All right.
I think that's how I feel almost every day and in every situation. I'm just a fucking thing coming from the ground, like looking silly, like what is happening here?
Because Diglett digs.
Yeah.
All right. What is a match people should go out of their way to see that best shows off what you are all about as a pro wrestler?
You mean my match?
Yes.
Yeah. I think there are some that are easy to. Of course, I had one of my recent matches that I really liked was I had a 30 minutes Ironman match for the FCF title where I lost my title, and I think because my opponent Jake Lupa, he didn't like Ironman matches, and most of the people don't like Ironman matches, and we kind of made them like the Ironman rules. So I think I'm really proud of that. But also you can find from YouTube Shemeikka against Regina Roosendahl from, I think it was Omega 2023. I have a excellent body paint there. I have this golden body paint which really makes me just look so cool. And I had a great match with Regina, and also the one where I won the title for the first time. You can also find that on YouTube. So Shemeikka against Juhana Karhula from Winter War 15, or it's Talvisota in Finnish. But I think those are some of. There's so many, but like those are the ones that come to my mind. Also Shemeikka against Prinssi Make from Winter War or Talvisota 16. That's when I turned heel. I really like when like there's something happening, like also my career wise, of course, winning the title, losing the titles, turning heel. I think that like when you have something like that, what you can build around the match, it really also amplifies the match itself.
Oh, absolutely. All right. I will find those matches on YouTube, and I will put a link to them in the description of the video below, both on YouTube and Castbox for anybody that hasn't seen them, wants to see them, wants to re-see them after this interview. And since we are nearing the conclusion of this interview, we are wrestling with the 8 questions of doom. This is our speed round, or bonus round, the round where we see who you really are. Are you ready?
All right.
Excluding yourself, greatest wrestler of all time.
Juhana Karhula.
Worst wrestler.
Oh my God. Let's say Giant Gonzalez.
I will accept that answer. Your main eventing WrestleMania for the World Championship. Who is your opponent?
Roman Reigns.
If you could come out to anyone's entrance music, past or present, who would it be?
Shawn Michaels, Sexy Boy.
Finish the sentence. Kayfabe is
a nice thing of a past.
We would have also accepted taste great on toast. Squash. Is it a vegetable or a fruit?
It's fruit.
Yes, it is indeed a fruit. New Japan wrestler Taichi, his ring gear gets smaller every year, revealing more of himself to the world. My question, what is the appropriate trunks to butt cheek ratio for ring gear?
I think people should understand that you don't need trunks at all. So I would say all butt cheeks if possible.
Okay,
like,
so the sexy Eddie.
Yes, 100%. Just have butt cheeks everywhere.
Okay. And the last question, the main event, the thing everybody wants to know. Have you ever had a conversation with a stranger in a supermarket about Darby Allin?
Oh, I'm glad that I haven't had.
And that's the correct answer. And that will conclude this interview. Thank you so much for coming on and doing this with me.
Thank you so much. It was so much fun.
And once again, where can we find you on social media and merchandise?
Check me on Instagram, Shemeikka FCF, and you will find me also on Facebook and Threads, and even TikTok if you like some stupid videos.
Merchandise?
Merchandise you can only buy at the shows.
Okay.
My online shop isn't ready yet because I'm a lazy guy. But on shows and wherever I wrestle, I'll bring them with me.
All right. And you don't have to type it into your Google machine. All of the links to all his social media will be in the description of the video below, but on YouTube and Castbox, simply click the link. A new tab will appear on whatever device you are on. You have no excuse. Give him a damn follow, and if you're at a show, buy a damn shirt. Alright, thank you for listening. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment, but on YouTube and Castbox. This was sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. Join us next Tuesday and Wednesday for new incredible interviews, and follow the show at Wrestling with E, both on Xthread and Instagram for information on who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing them, links to those interviews, and so much more. Follow me personally at JamesShane993. Alright, when I say Wrestling Wit, you say entertainment, okay?
Alright.
For our special guest, Shemeikka, Calico Yacht, Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling with
Entertainment!
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys, we appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.